hold on.
Living in America really hindered me that much in learning about who I am because English was my third language. I learned 2 Chinese languages at first, so and I was basically raised by my parents through their cultures and traditions. For a long time, I actually thought a lot of the Chinese cultures and traditions was American traditions, so it was a little confusing until I learned that it's not how Americans do some things. I always thought it was just an American thing, but it was actually a Chinese thing. So I think it didn't really hinder me too much, other than knowing like what it's like to live in China. But I think overall the culture of it, I think I learned pretty much everything I needed to know from my parents.
As far as if whether or not living in the States affected my ability to relate to my culture, I would say it hasn't affected it that much. I still keep up a lot with what goes on within my community, but there are a couple things I may not understand, like some subtleties in the culture or a couple of proverbs and phrases that they may use and live by. But other than that, I would say I stay pretty connected to it.
I don't think so. I mean, there's still a lot of things I don't know about my heritage, but I feel like my parents and especially my grandma did a really good job of informing me because I was basically raised by my grandma, and she did not really know anything about like the American culture that much, besides like pizza and like small things like that. But other than that, she would tell me stories. And we would do regular like Chinese traditional rituals and stuff like that. So I think I got a pretty good piece of my heritage, but I'm sure there's some things I don't know right now.
The first adjustment I need to have is homesick, and I kind of miss my family almost all the time, but that's something I can't change, so I try to like talk to them every day and focus on something else. And the other is that I have to use English to do basically go to every class and listen to English, although it's not a big problem, but still I was not used to it in the very beginning. And the third one is food. I am so used to Chinese food, and when I first came here, I feel like there's nothing for me to eat. So that was a hard time, but gradually those challenges I get adjusted to them, and I'm not afraid of those anymore.
The biggest challenge to me when I first came here is the names that you have to know for daily conversations. When I first went to Walmart, I have no idea what I should look for because I really don't know most of the product's name. That's probably the most challenging thing I encountered when I first came here. And besides that, it's probably how I interact with people from different places in the United States.
The thing that surprised me is that people are really welcoming. I remember the first day when I was here, and people say hi to me, like whenever they pass by, but they don't even know me, and they're really friendly, so it makes me feel like I am actually welcome here. That's something I've never really experienced before, and I really liked it.
Everybody gotta have a car. That's true. Surprised me. Well, the social interaction kind of surprised me. In China, if we're friends, we say hi, we hang out. The same thing happened here, except I experienced more warm or more welcomed.
I never felt discriminated from him, but I did encounter a few occasions outside South Carolina where I feel some hatred or racism towards me. While I was at a few college parties outside Furman, and then people really mean, and when I see an Asian there, they'll question you, what are you doing here? And and you should go back to your country and something dissuaded me.
This sounds kind of contradictory to my first answer, but yeah, I did feel very, like, I guess, and a bit discriminated as a kid, and still sometimes now you can feel like people think about you differently, and they look at you differently too. I feel like, oh, that's my opinion, anyways, and like as a little kid, like for they would, I guess, like call you names and stuff like that because you're ethnically different or you look
I
different.
would say that, yes. Especially on the basketball court, when those kids are not very friendly, they would joke about your race, they would joke about, they're just not being very respectful. There was one guy, he's white, and he knows my name is Stone, and he just randomly make a nickname for me.
What was the nickname?
Stoner.
You know, well, I'm a chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night.
Oh!